Creed 3 arrives. Creed 3 arrives. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day. And Creed 3 opens up today, guys. Are you excited for it? Have you gone out and seen it in the Thursday night previews? Or are you going to go see it today? Hey, we're going to do our full review of it today. It's not going to be spoilerish or anything like that. I'm not going to do a spoiler episode for it. It's just going to be my normal movie review. We'll take a look at what else is opening up this weekend at the theaters. We got some trailers to look at. Haunted Mansion, Peter Pan and Wendy to take a look at. There's the new Hellboy has been casted, so we'll be talking about that. But we start off today's show by talking about no X-Men or Fantastic Four. What is this about? Well, Avengers Kang Dynasty writer reveals that the Fantastic Four and the X-Men will not appear in Kang Dynasty. Guys, I thought we were getting so close to getting X-Men and Fantastic Four. We know that Fantastic Four is part of this next phase, right? It's supposed to end. Just get to it already. How many years do we have to sit on our hands as fans to get what we want? Now, the X-Men, I understand it was like 2025 until certain contracts lapse. But come on, at least give us the Fantastic Four. We know that we're going to get that. But the writer Jeff Loveness has offered further insight into the MCU. And we have questions. Oh yeah, I got questions too. Now, I'm not going to talk about, because he also wrote Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. We're not going to get into that today. He says, Loveness describes Fantastic Four, which will be released a few months before Avengers Kang Dynasty. And it's its own thing. So even though that Fantastic Four is coming out before the Fantastic Four, before Avengers Kang Dynasty, they're not going to be in Kang Dynasty? I thought the Avengers movies were supposed to be like the team up, right? Of what was, this going to be all driving towards, right? And if you're going to have a movie in there that's not relevant to an Avengers movie, for me, that's huge red flags. It's like, I thought all of these were driving towards Avengers movies. And if you're not going to have movies in there that are going to be of any relevance to an Avengers movie, it's like, what? As a fan, it's like, what? Wait, what? Anyway, let's take a look at this quote. No, I think all that stuff is pretty far away. I know that they're making Fantastic Four, but that's its own thing. I mean, look, I'm the biggest X-Men guy in the world. No, I think that's being saved for a bit. But these Avengers are in trouble. They've got a lot on with Kang. They got more than enough to handle. What do you mean? Yeah, Kang's a bad guy, but you would think that Fantastic Four and X-Men would be at least a part of it. We know it's confirmed that, there are mutants now. So it's kind of like, okay, they weren't going to be the bad guys because Kang is the bad guy. So what in blazes are you talking about, Loveness? It just gives me pause. This whole phase started off with a rough start there with Quantumania. I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but there it is. I just did. And people say, well, it's going to course correct with Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But that movie is, we know that's the final one in that series. There's going to be no more of that iteration whatsoever coming along. So it doesn't really have that much bearing. We understand that going into it. But we understood that Ant-Man was supposed to pave the way for this next phase, and it just kind of fizzled out. And then I'm not hearing good things about the Marvels either. I'm not. Which kind of that's Captain Marvel too. But what do you guys think about that headline? About the Fantastic Four and the X-Men will not appear in Kang Dynasty. Arglass Viking says all these expos and Comic-Con announces and castings, they shouldn't build people's hopes up unless the films are imminent, like months away, not years. Not too. But we know that the X-Men are coming. We know that the Fantastic Four are coming. Okay, I understand that you want to hold off until those movies are coming, but you would think you could at least tell us that they're part of the plans. And for Kang Dynasty, Apparently, no X-Men, no Fantastic Four. What do you think? Let's switch over to the DC universe now and talk about James Gunn, because people have been speculating that Ben Affleck was going to come on to direct the Batman movie in his universe called The Brave and the Bold, where uh, Batman would have a son, Damian Wayne. So I think this was just fishing. I think fans out there were fishing for information because James Gunn's been responding to people on Twitter and social medias. So somebody said to him, didn't Gunn say in previous interview that Affleck's not directing Brave and the Bold? I get that Gunn is something of a professional, but professional liar, but still. And then I think he was responding more to them being called a liar. For years, it's been a commitment to my fans that I will never lie to them, and I never have. I'd be very curious about what it is you think I've lied about. So people are fishing. That's fishing. That's poking around, poking the bear to see, what he responds to, right? To see if is it confirmation or isn't it that Ben Affleck's going to be directing the Batman movie there for James Gunn. I hope that he does. I think that's just like our fan wishes that, because we know that he's a good director. We know that Ben Affleck is a good director. But, yeah. And some people will try to spin this as him confirming that he isn't. Or some people will spin it confirming that it is, because he's not directly saying that he's not saying that he's directing the movie. I'm sure they've had talks. I'm sure they've had, right? It's going to be a different Batman. Maybe. Right? Damian Wayne. It's just one of those things where it's kind of like, maybe years down the line, once the Superman movie comes out and we get a tone as to what that universe is going to be like, then we'll get an idea. I'm sure they got an idea already as to who they want to have direct it, but I don't know. Arglass says, or Bifer says, some say that the X-Men and Fantastic Four are still under contract and they don't want to buy them out. Well, that's what I was alluding to with the contracts there. Like some of the actors are still under obligations from the older contracts to like 2025, and then once that is done, then they can make X-Men without any restrictions for the characters. Meaning, from my understanding, if they use a Professor X, they got to either use Patrick Stewart or James McAvoy. They can't recast it yet because one of those two is still under contract until 2025. So they have to wait till that lapses so they can bring in a new actor to play Professor X. That's what I understand. That's why we keep on getting these little iterations. Arglass Frankie says they should cast new actors and give them a chance to make their own. Yeah, and exactly. I think that's what they want to do. But that doesn't stop, of course they haven't looked at actors yet, but they can at least announce the plans that, okay, we're getting the Fantastic Four movie, but why wouldn't that not be part of the Kang Dynasty? Like, why wouldn't those characters be part? I think they can still change. They've got time to change course there and include them as well. With the X-Men, that's going to be farther off. And it's, I was watching clips of X-Men 2 the other day, and I was like, I would love a Storm movie. Just make a movie about Storm. Like, her character is so awesome. They've never done her justice in any of the movies. And they've never done Cyclops justice. They should build the X-Men up like that. Anyway, I'm digressing from the main stories. Let's take a look at what's been opening up this weekend. I forgot this story, James. I forgot to put this in. Oh well. We'll talk about it now. Then we'll talk about what's opening up. There's a new John Wick IMAX poster I wanted to take a look at here for you guys. John Wick Chapter 4 in IMAX, March 24th. Guys, it's just around the corner. Like 21 days away. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we know that he goes to Paris in this one. We know that John Wick is tracking to open up huge. It's going to be one of the biggest for its franchise. Franchise record, 60 to 70 million. Have you pre-bought your tickets yet? I'm not somebody who's into that. My market doesn't show that I needed to do that. So if you're in a market where it's like, yeah, lots of people are around there and stuff, then maybe you need to pre-buy. But for me, I always check it and I don't need to. So um, I'm looking forward to it. John Wick IMAX poster. Cool. Cool, man. Um, there are my other social media handles, guys. Hey, if you like those little shorts that we publish, you know that sometimes you can find extended versions of those on TikTok and Instagram because I don't have to have that 1 minute time frame that YouTube Shorts insists upon. I hope they expand. They should expand that to 1.5 minutes too, because sometimes I just need that extra 5 seconds to add on the point or to bring my point full around because sometimes you just can't get it out quick enough. But that's just a minor gripe. Let's go on and take a look at what's opening up this weekend. Of course, the big headline out there, as I said in our title, Creed 3 opens up, and are you going to go out and see it? My straight out of the theater reaction is up on the channel right now. And so Creed 3, my initial reaction to it was that it was a good movie, and it became this close. It came this close, and it still may be my favorite movie of the year so far. But we're only in March. This is the first weekend of March, right? So you can go see it in AVX and stuff like that. So that's opening up. Ant-Man is still out. That'll be there for a while. Cocaine Bear is still opening. The Jesus Revolution that I was going to go see this week, but I saw Guitar Lessons instead. I saw this Guitar Lessons here. So, yeah. And we'll be reviewing Creed 3 here in this show today, and we'll be reviewing Guitar Lessons. Now, this is a limited release one. I don't think people in international markets will be able to get access to it. Katak, the Brave Beluga, kids movie. Marlowe's still playing. Knock at the Cabin. Let's just go to a bigger theater and see what they are listing for theirs. Creed 3, and Ant-Man and the Wasp. There's always hope. What the heck is that? There is always hope. I know what that is. There's always hope. Came out in 2021. It said a woman travels to Portugal in an attempt to orchestrate and reconcile between her parents. And orchestrate a reconciliation between her parents. Colin Meaney's in this. Cool. Kate Ashfield, John Light. So that's playing in some theaters there, guys. There's always hope. Huh. Fascinating. Comedy drama. Cocaine Bear is still playing. I think I may go out and try to see the Jesus Revolution. Marlowe is going to be on Netflix next Friday, guys, so I'm not going to see that in theater. And I never watched the Luther series, so I may not. I don't know. I may not watch it, but it is Idris Elba, and I do like him. Titanic's still playing. Eddie for Brady. Puss in Boots, Man Called Otto. Demon Slayer is playing this weekend. So if you're into anime, you might want to go check that out. Let's take a look at what else is playing here. Creed 3. Spider. No idea what that is. Cocaine Bear. Selfie. A Hindi movie. Selfie. Fascinating. Shahzada is playing. Kali Jota. Punjabi movie. What's this? Roman Cham. Malayalam movie. Malayalam. I like that. Mollywood, right? Based on true events. Fascinating. So we got some options here, guys. I guess it's been out for a while there. It's been out for a month. But yeah, the big story that everybody will be talking about is the Creed premieres. Yeah. Guys, Jonathan Majors was good in it as a bad guy. Bifer says RR&R is starts today. Encore fan event. Okay. Tessa Thompson, though, was great. And the daughter, I like the family dynamic of this. I did. So Iron Boy Wonder says, when the Will Smith meltdown happen. I have been scary of his career dying or dying off real life. The slap is dying out from existence. No, isn't it that somebody just praised him for that? Was it Kimmel? One of the late night guys praised Will Smith, said that he was brave for doing, or no, they praised Chris Rock's response just recently, like not fighting back and stuff. Our encore event starts today. It doesn't, so maybe I should post a short of my reaction to the dance scene, Natu, which they are going to perform Natu at the Oscars this year. So I can't wait. Oh, I'm going to have to turn on my camera and get a live reaction to that when they perform that. Roman Chom is my most anticipated film. Okay. Cool. All right, guys. I'm going to set up here for my Creed 3 review. So I'm going to have to take away the live chat and make sure that we're all set up here. Because, yeah. Just want to make sure that all of these are ready to rock and roll. Here we go. Just making sure that all my pages are refreshed and ready to go. Okay. Let's do it. Creed 3 opens this weekend, guys. I know you're going to go out and see it. This is my full review. Don't worry, I won't give any spoilers for it. It stars Michael B. Jordan, Tessa Thompson, and Jonathan Majors. And IMDb has the synopsis up that reads, Donis has been thriving in both his career and family life, but when a childhood friend and former boxing prodigy resurfaces, the face-off is more than just a fight. Yeah, we've seen that in the trailers, right? The Jonathan Majors is this lifelong friend that had, I guess, gone away in jail for some time, and then he comes out, and then he wants a crack at the title shot, and you thought that they would be like mortal enemies coming out. Like, that's the way that the trailers played it. So I'll give you a little bit of a warning here. Some of the movie doesn't play out exactly the same way that you think that it would, right? Like when Jonathan Majors comes out and starts to show that he has got some other agenda, like we've seen in the trailers, not quite exactly the way that you would think. So if people are expecting Jonathan Majors to be like the big brooding bad guy in this, like a Clubber Lang, no, you're not going to get that. But his performance is good because there's that nuance there that, yeah, they were childhood friends. They do have something going on in the background there that makes it very appealing. And Jonathan Majors is a good actor, so of course he carries that weight and clout to him. The fighting in this, the fight scenes, you'll notice this right off the bat when you watch the opening fight scene. The cinematography is there. There's something about the style of it. I don't know if it's a mix of CG or just like high-res cameras, but you can see like the ripples of flesh and like sweat beads falling off people, and like in this poster. It's just Michael B. Jordan shot this phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. It's a bit long, I would say. It's just under 2 hours, but it moves pretty quickly through the story. It's got some pacing issues, I say, towards the end. Going into the third act, I was sitting in the theater thinking, this is easily my favorite movie of the year. This is just so awesome. But then it started to go into a little bit of a direction where it's kind of like, okay, well, it's starting to come apart a little bit, but you know that they're building up to the big fight between the two. And yeah, we're going to go through a little step, a little trial and tribulation to get there. But once it happens, you're kind of like, okay. But it's more about the emotion. For me, it was more about the emotional, these two settling what they have to settle, and then they do it the way that most guys do. Hey, I don't like the way that you said that about something, right? And then you say, well, then don't talk to me anymore. And then sometimes you got to fight, and that's what guys do. And then you fight, and then you make up, and you're friends after. And some people may not like that, right? Some people prefer like the Rocky Drago kind of thing where they fought and they're still not really friends afterwards kind of thing. By the way, there is some cool cameos in this too. Don't expect Rocky though. I'll say that. Don't expect Rocky. We know that Sylvester Stallone was not going to be in this one from the get-go anyway. So if you're holding out hope and if that's something that's going to let you down, no. And this movie proves that this Creed series can continue on without Rocky in it because Michael B. Jordan and Tessa Thompson and the family there. I want to see the next chapter for sure. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying. As of 11:20, 86% by the critics, 96% by the audience. So the audience is liking this a lot more than the critics. Expect that to come down a little bit. I'm just going to refresh that page there and see if it comes down just a little bit, see if it changes, because sometimes it does. It's still not even noon hour here on Friday, and most people are not going to go see it until later tonight and Saturday. But for me, I totally recommend it. 87% by the critics. Yeah, so not much change in there. Let's take a look at some of the snapshot reviews and see if I agree with them. ABC News says Michael B. Jordan returns as star and now director to play the boxing champ who comes out of retirement to take on a fierce new contender, a dynamite Jonathan Majors. Even when the overcrowded plot stumbles, this clash of titans is worth cheering. Yeah, it is. It totally is. And yeah, that's a good one. Minneapolis Star Tribune says, I'd call the movie a split decision. It falters occasionally, but in the end, Creed 3 wins. I think it does too. And the ending fight is photographed in a very interesting way. Some very curious choices made by Michael B. Jordan. It doesn't take away from the fight. It doesn't. It's not going to be some weird shaky cam kind of thing where you can't tell what's going on. No, he appreciates wide angle shots on the fights too. So you can see what's happening, right? So he's adopted that into his style. And it makes me excited for him as a director. It totally does. Let's go and take a look at some negative reviews and see if we agree with them. Sadly, all the elements that made the first two films so accessible and engaging are nowhere to be found here. What? Well, what made the first two engaging to you? First of all, I would have to ask you. This story does a good job of setting up what this movie is about. It's about these two guys that have a past, that something happened in the past between them, and then when this guy comes out of jail, he wants his shot at the title. And Creed says that he's going to give it to him. Yeah, the family dynamic in this one, I can't champion enough. Jonathan Majors, when I came out, I was like, that's what I wanted to feel about Jonathan Majors coming out of Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Like, that's a performance. That's who I want to see more of. And I hope that we do. I hope that we do, because there's talks out there that, there could be more. Like Michael B. Jordan teases future projects with Creed-verse fan favorites. Because it can't continue, right? Michael B. Jordan says, you will see the Creed-verse continue to grow and expand. I think that we're invested in some really interesting characters that I think a lot of people were responding to, like Drago. Yeah, I have to give a political answer to that, though. He says, there's going to be more of the Creed family, and there's going to be more of some of the characters that you love from this movie. I just don't know what package it's going to be yet. And there is stuff there that, yeah, the family dynamic that could come into play, that I think for sure, most definitely could come into play. Especially what they were teasing there with the daughter. Yeah, maybe like 10 years from now when Creed is like fully retired, seeing his daughter try to take up that mantle and maybe deter her away from it. There's something there. There's definitely a story there that could be continued, and I would love to see that story because Michael B. Jordan, this is phenomenal work. Let's address one last thing here before I wrap things up. Do you need to stick around for a post-credit scene? No, you don't need to. There's no post-credit scene. So when it's wrapped, you can just, talk about it with the people that you've gone to see it with. Creed 3, guys. Really good way to start off March. 1 hour and 56 minutes. Really great way to start off March. And as I said, it came this close to becoming my favorite movie of the year. And you'll feel that too when you're watching it. Just because you're like, I wanted to see boxing right away. But then you're sucked into the story between Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors, and you're like, you'll be like, wait a minute, 40 minutes went by and we haven't really seen that much boxing. It's like, what? But you're that invested. That's what I'm trying to say. It worked for me. Creed 3, thumbs up in my book. I don't think I would be as generous as some of the audience scores for this, like a 96. What do they got there? 9.5. 8.7 for the critics. I would probably have to give Creed 3 an 8 out of 10. There it is, straight up, guys. What do you think about that? Are you going to go check it out this weekend? It is fun. It's a charge. When you come out of the theater, you'll be like, that was a good experience. And that's what you're going to get with Creed 3. All right, guys, you're watching Mirror Domains. If you like what you've seen, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Yeah. All right, let's take some comments here from the chats and see what you guys are saying. Pfeiffer says Creed 3 is energy, high energy, pump it. Yeah, some people are pissed Stallone was not in Creed 3. Yeah, that's what I wanted to address that in my review, just to temper people. I know that some people will say that it's a spoiler that he wasn't in it, or telling people that he is or isn't, because some people do. They still want to go in there with their fingers crossed, saying that, oh yeah, maybe there'll be like a shot of him or something like that. The only spoiler that I will give you is that Drago's in it. Okay, not the older one, the younger one. So there you go. And he's in it quite more than I thought, and that's not really spoiling anything. It's not, because it's not the main part of the story. Jonathan Majors by far. And I didn't want to address any of the drama behind the scenes that, yeah, Stallone was angry and he was going to try to sue them and stuff like that, but don't worry about that, guys. The movie sucks you in. And Tessa Thompson, too, is the wife. She's got multiple scenes in here where you'll be watching Tessa and the way that she reacts with Michael B. Jordan in the scenes. It's awesome. Because she acts like a wife, and you believe that these two are married, and you believe that they are a family unit, and they're talking like a husband and wife do, even over like difficult subjects, right? Artglass says, is it a good sound? Oh yeah, it is a good soundtrack. It is too. The soundtrack is really good. Now it's probably full of a lot of artists that I'm not familiar with, because it is kind of like a hip hop kind of thing. So it's got a lot of that flavor in it. But yeah, you believe it between these two. You do. And you thought that Jonathan Majors would come out kind of like Tom Hardy in like Warrior. He would be kind of like emulating that kind of thing. But it's not. It's totally different. It's a different kind of thing. And it worked for me. It really worked for me. So yeah, go check that out. Okay, let's reset. And what's next on the schedule there, James? Guitar lessons review. All right, so I got to reset my posters here. Guitar lessons. Now this one will be a little bit more of a quicker one. I'm not going to ramble on for too long with this one, because as we saw a glimpse of there in the theater listings, not many people have access to this one, so I'll try to keep it brief. Why is that still going? Weird. Okay. Let's do it. Guitar Lessons is a movie out here in Canada. It's like an indie film, guys, about a bunch of people living up north. Well, let's just go over to the IMDb and I'll read you the quick synopsis that they have listed. It tells the tale, it tells the story of a 15-year-old and a 50-year-old old man who, oh God, that's terrible, James. That's terrible. Oh my God, I'm messing up here. I'll recut that one. Hey, this is the live show. Don't worry, I'll be cutting these out and posting it later on. Guitar Lessons is an indie movie out here in Canada, and I went out and checked it out. So here's my quick review. The synopsis reads, it tells the story of a 15-year-old and a 50-year-old oil man who learn to grow up together over guitar lessons. Yeah, it kind of takes place, on, I think a reservation of some kind, because they talk about this kid's Métis, and yeah, my initial impressions are that it was good. It's a small slice of life of these people trying to survive up there, and let me give it to you straight, guys. I liked this movie. It had some very good scenes in it. Now, I am a movie reviewer. I am a movie critic. I talk about movies on a daily basis. I'm movies. So, I gotta be honest. The acting in this is way subpar. It's not. When you look at it, you'll be kind of like, if you're used to like big Hollywood productions, it's amateur hour. But I like the premise. They say that they're growing up there, but it's basically this kid like loses his father, and his guitar is left to him, and he's like, I don't know how to play this. So he reaches out to this oil man guy who did play in a band once, and it's more about like the growing pains of them, like just going through life and trying to survive. The lead guy here, the guy with the hat, is very jaded. Corb Lund. Is his name? Is that his name? No. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah. People are after his money because he makes money off the oils and stuff like that, and he's very jaded, and he's had some past relationships that have and haven't worked. So, like, the town doesn't really trust him and stuff because he's got all the money and stuff like that. That stuff I like. This childish stuff, that didn't work for me. What did work for me was some of the acting was okay. Like this actress here, she worked. She had one scene that she was kind of like getting angry, and people would say, well, James, anger is sort of easy to act, but not really, because she got angry in one scene, but then she had a scene right after that where she had to show some tenderness, right? What's her name here? Liana Mapuch. Yeah, as I said, she's got a scene in there where it made me actually go, well, aside from the mediocrity in the acting, she did actually pretty good, I would say. Guys, it was probably because it was a lower budget. They didn't have the money to go out there and cast all these grand people to make this project work. I liked it because it was smaller and it's an independent film, and they were trying. They were really, really trying. And the director tried to work with it in a style that may not work for some people, but it worked for me. Like, he used a lot of the soundtrack in this. So, because maybe some of the actors just couldn't carry it, you would see people from behind a lot, and they would be doing stuff, and there would just be music playing, right? Like, he fixes a guitar, like, you don't see his face in it or anything like that, but you just hear the music and you understand the emotions that the director wants us to feel. There it is. There. That's what I want to say. Let's go over to the tomato meter and see what people are saying, if this even ranks on the tomato meter. 3 reviews by critics, 93 by the audience. So people who have seen it, probably family members and stuff like that. That's how small this movie is. So I'm not going to try to rag on it. Now, is it a 93%? Sorry, guys. It's not. It's not a 93%. Let's take a look at some of the snapshot reviews. National Post says, its episodic nature isn't enough to derail the film's charm, which consistently shines through and carries it over any rough transitions. So that's a good review. Yeah, it does happen in episodic kind of installments. And that's what I meant earlier when I said that, it's like a slice of life kind of thing. You see things. Like when I first came out, there was a great scene between an uncle and his nephew talking about addiction in a tent. And it doesn't really have anything to do with the two main characters, but it was a nice scene. It was a great scene. Let's take a look at some of the negative reviews. Overall, Guitar Lessons fails to come together, particularly the more dramatic second half, but it has enough small victories to be worth your time. Yeah, small victories. That's pretty much the way that I would say. Despite committed performances from its cast and gorgeous exterior shots, there's a lot of exterior shots. There's a lot of B-roll in this. They do showcase that northern Alberta area very, very well. The story, such as it is, it's predictable and stilted, says Original Sin. Okay, so that's what you're going to get in this one. And they use like the guitar lessons as a metaphor of like guitar lessons. Playing guitar is hard. You just can't pick it up. And you can't even pick it up and just go strum it like that right off the bat, because most people just don't know how to do that, right? So they use that kind of like as an analogy that life is like guitar lessons. You got to work at it. There's going to be things that you don't like. There's going to be struggles that you got to get through, but eventually some things pay off. And there's a great, absolutely beautiful sequence at the end of this movie where the two leads there talk in a boat fishing, and they're talking about relationships and stuff, and how people have serious relationships between like partners, right? If you're like you're a keeper, or if you're somebody like a rental and stuff like that. That was really awesome. The way that this guy describes it. Disposable was one of them, right? And he's like, I'm trying not to be a disposable person anymore, and I want to become a keeper. Yeah, that was a good scene. It was great. There's some great stuff in here, and that's worth checking out. I agree with that. So for me, I would give Guitar Lessons a 7 out of 10 if you got a chance to see it. There it is, guys, straight up for me. I know it's not necessarily the best thing that you would want to hear from me, but hey, it is what it is. And I would say it definitely is worth checking out. Yeah, there's that uncle guy that I was talking about. He did a good job, too, in that scene. He did a very good job, especially the way that he described things, and pulled from some knowledge that was probably passed down through generations. I love that stuff. Fantastic. All right, guys, that's it for me talking about Guitar Lessons. If you had a chance to go out and see it, let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. So, as I said, hey, we talk movies here, so subscribe to the channel, hit that thumbs up button, and I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains. All right, guys, that's our 2 movie reviews. That is our 2 movie reviews. Let's pull up some live chats here. Okay, we're back in it. I know that not everybody's going to have access to that movie, but I do want to post a separate review for that. I did want to chop out a formal review for that for sure. Hourglass says, so is Guitar Lessons like panning for gold? You have to sieve through the silt to get to the good stuff? Like it, using analogies. A little bit. It's kind of stark, too, if you don't understand what it's like to grow up on reservations and stuff like that, too, I guess. Some of the mentalities may get lost on some people. Yeah. But that's mostly why I wanted to see it. For obvious reasons, right? Anyway, let's get back into the movie news stuff. Hellboy! Yeah, there's been a new Hellboy cast, and we just watched Hellboy 2019 last week, right? Hellboy movie, The Crooked Man, casts actor Jack Casey as the anti-hero. So this is going to be our new Hellboy. And we knew that they were going to use the Crooked Man story, that they were going to go for a younger Hellboy in this. And it's set in 1950s Appalachia. That's right. We even got the synopsis for it the other day there, too. I think we talked about this on our Horror Weekly Roundup show, right? So, this is the guy who's going to be playing him. Now, of course, he won't look like that. Or this. He'll look more like this. The Hellboy makeup is so transforming, right? He'll look like Hellboy. The thing is that it really hasn't made a whole lot of money, right? At the box office. It's made some, like, what was it, $50 to $100 million? So you got to bring the budget down, right? And as far, I don't know too much about this guy. I think he'll be okay, though. This Jack Ivy, or Kessie, sorry. Kessie. James, you're supposed to be reporting on this. Brian Taylor, who directed Crank, is going to be doing this. So the guy who did Crank is going to be directing this. So they got the director, they got the actor, they got the time frame of when this is supposed to happen in the 1950s. We got the source material story. This is the third time to try to get Hellboy off the ground. And if they don't do it with this one, this will be it, guys. If this one doesn't land with the audience or doesn't resonate, then this will be the final nail in the coffin for Hellboy. Now, if they can somehow, by some miracle, make this Hellboy for like $10 million, then it's got a chance. It's got a chance. But that's the wheelhouse that you should be trying to make this. And they'll be saying, well, how could you put in all those visual effects, and how could you make the makeup and have them fight like trolls and giants and stuff like that, demons, and it's kind of like, that's just fluff, guys. That's just fluff. And once you realize that, it's kind of like, if they can get a Hellboy story that deals with a storyline that resonates with like you as a person, then like that you can identify with, like a struggle of maybe like people not accepting him or him not finding his place. Like they almost tried to do that with the father-son story in the 2019 version, and it worked for me there. But that's not enough for people. They got to find something else that will grab people in and make that the focus. And I know people will want to see the weird monsters and stuff like that and say, well, that's not Hellboy if you do not have that stuff in there. But you got to find that emotional core for a Hellboy, for sure. And Bifer says the audience won't watch a Hellboy without Del Toro. And yeah, there's that too, Bifer. People want to see Hellboy 3 from Del Toro, and you're just not going to get it. It's gone past its prime. It's not going to happen anymore, right? Arglass Viking says both Ron Perlman and David Harbour have the ability to be comedic in stature. Yeah, they do. They must be going for a more credible Hellboy with this new actor. Not sure I know him as a comedic entity. Yeah. I don't know that much about his work. I should probably have pulled up his IMDb, which I suppose I can do right now. Like he's got the frame, right? He's got the structure. You can see that he's a big guy, right? But as far as his acting work, he's got 28 credits. So he's done things like, he was in Deadpool 2 as Black Tom. Okay, so that's a big one out there. Death Wish. Eli Roth's Death Wish that nobody wants to talk about. He was in Baywatch, Hot Summer Nights, The Strain. Oh, he was the big bad guy in The Strain? He was the master? That's where I recognize him. Is that where that shot's from? Yeah, he was the master. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's from The Strain. I remember that now. Okay. No, yeah, he's a big dude. He can play Hellboy. Okay, so yeah, I'm on board with that. He was in The Strain. Yeah, no, he can do it. The question is, as I said, that story, it's got to have that emotional core that resonates with people. And if they can pull that off, I think it can work. What do you think about the new Hellboy, guys? No release date of yet, because there hasn't been a production start date, but if they got the power pieces with the director and the actor, it's only a matter of time. I'll keep my eye out for it for you guys. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Haunted Mansion had a trailer out this week. Let's get into this. Disney's Haunted Mansion trailer with Danny DeVito, Rosario Dawson, A-list star, creepy remake. Yeah, this has nothing to do with the Eddie Murphy version. Jamie Lee Curtis is going to be in this. Jared Leto, Winona Ryder. Cool. Now, I, on purpose, staved off watching this trailer. So we shall watch this teaser right now as I quickly transfer over the audio. And who cares if we get copyright claimed? Do not enter.
Welcome home. I know this place isn't as warm as I hoped.
I have written.
But I'm going to light a vanilla candle, and it's going to be a game changer. Will it though? We're out.
Not Rosario Dawson.
This mansion is unhinged.
She's so awesome.
She needs all the help
Can't
she
wait
can
for
get.
Ahsoka Tano.
You want to be a hero? Pass. $2,000.
What's the address?
Wilson? Uh-oh. Music. Gonna have to mute that, James. Okay, those are the pictures that look at you when you walk by, right? To home. Yeah. The eyes follow you when you walk by.
They're playing tricks on you.
There's Danny DeVito. Yeah, that's like the opening room. That's the opening room when it stretches up.
Death lurks around every corner.
Other more powerful entities may come through.
Not on our watch.
Well, what are you gonna do? Seriously?
Yeah.
They're already dead.
You're gonna be deader.
Okay.
Dead. Okay. Well. Okay. That worked for me. That did. Owen Wilson was in a film called The Haunting. Yeah, he was, says Artglass. Let's take a look at some of the comments here, see if people are resonating with this. For a while, we've had an adventure, whimsical magic, space battles, and a lot of superheroes, so it's nice to see that Disney is going back to the spookier side of things. Me too, yeah. Set design and ideas for this movie is probably the most effort Disney's put into a film in years. Honestly, really dang hype for this movie. So people are liking it. I can't wait for this to come out. I'm surprised that it's not a Disney Plus original. Yeah, because they've been doing that. They've been putting stuff straight to Disney Plus. And hey, it is what it is. Owen Wilson was in a film called The Haunting. Yeah, we saw that one. This trailer and cast looks superb, says Artglass. Think I'm going to enjoy this. Yeah, looks okay. What was the release date for that again? Appearing in theaters soon. Do I not have a release date for that? July 28th. Right there. July 28th is when this comes out. So, yeah, look charming. Charming enough, I would say. For sure. Okay, I still don't know, but I bow to your knowledge. Never seen The Strain. The Strain was good, but it kind of fell apart towards the last season. It was Del Toro, though, that produced that series, too, so that was good. All right. Good trailer, I would say. Something that is going straight to Disney Plus is Peter Pan and Wendy. Peter Pan and Wendy has a new trailer out, and guys, the popularity is going down. It's got something going on with it where it's not landing with the audiences. April 28th is going to be when this comes out, and I watched this trailer, and I liked what I saw. Now, there are going to be people out there that'll tell you that it's absolute trash, that it's not capturing the essence of what Peter Pan and Wendy are It's just misguided. It's not found, and you should hit the thumbs down button. And people will say, well, that it's got like over like what 100,000 thumbs down. But if you follow YouTube, you can't tell how many thumbs down it is. So anybody who's got that information used an add-on to get that information. I don't care about the ratio of thumbs up to thumbs down. I don't, because it's all interactions. Hey, guys, if you don't get this, you don't understand this. If you hate something, you don't like something, yes, you can hit the thumbs down. But if you make videos about it, then you are giving press to it. If you don't like it, don't talk about it, because that's exactly what happened to Velma. You hated it so much you made videos about it, and then you complain that there's a season 2 because people are talking about it. If you don't like it, just don't talk about it. That's the way I see. I liked what I saw here in this, so I'm going to talk about it. This is Wendy, and this actress looks like she's going to be doing a good job in here. I like the tone in this, and some people I saw were complaining that they're not all Lost Boys. There's some girls in there too, but even in Hook, there were some girls with the Lost Boys. So it's kind of like, get over yourselves, guys. It doesn't have to be exactly like the book. It's open for interpretation whenever they do these kinds of things, right? Just like they're doing with the Hellboy kind of thing. It's got to have its different iterations to see what works, or it's just a different take on it. And I appreciate it for that. So I don't have anything set in stone as to what Peter Pan should or shouldn't look like. But the trailer worked for me. Them on the big clock tower getting ready to fly and stuff like that. I thought it looked pretty good. I did. We've all had those dreams when we were younger that kids, like, we wanted to fly like real people, or like fly like Superman. And I thought it was charming enough that it caught that whimsy, right? Like this kind of a shot. We need more of this kind of stuff. Like, this is fantastical. Like, we get like Iron Man flying along in a suit, or Superman and stuff like that. But this is just this is like dream stuff, right? And I thought it did a good job of capturing that. So I'm not going to rag on the kid actors or anything like that. It's just not in me to do that. But it got me curious enough to check it out. To say that, yeah, I want to check this movie out. And that's what a trailer should do. Jude Law there. Hook. Okay. Love the part where Peter says, with great power comes great responsibility. What the heck is going on here? Yeah, so people are trying to troll this. If you go down here and take a look at some of the comments, and it's kind of grotesque, actually, some of it, so we won't go into it. I thought it was interesting. As I said, interesting enough for me to say that I want to check this out. Who is that actress that plays Wendy? I want to see, because she there's something about her that looks vaguely familiar. Like I've seen her in something like something on Netflix. I want to think, but maybe this is her first thing. Previously she was in Black Widow as young Natasha. Okay, maybe that's it. We need to watch Black Widow here on the channel. We do. Because of Scarlett Johansson, mostly. Yes, of course. Has to be. But yeah, fascinating. I'll check it out. I got nothing against the new Peter Pan or Tinkerbell. When I was watching Tinkerbell, though, because we were just talking about poo, blood, and honey, and you know that those creators are going to make like an R-rated Peter Pan, right? Where Tinkerbell's like all coked out and stuff like that. I want to see that interpretation of Tinkerbell. Yeah. Arglass says this trailer looks superb. I think I'm going to enjoy this. Bifer says Hook with Robin Williams was the best Peter Pan movie. I did. Somebody should have dialed back Steven Spielberg a little bit, though, with the I want my mommy kind of thing. Right? Hourglass Vikings, yeah, if film is all-inclusive, then everyone can identify with it, and the movie will appeal to a wider audience. It's a no-brainer. Movie making is a business, yeah. Yeah. It's just, I saw, like, I didn't think that there was anything wrong with that trailer, but when I started to see other people talk about it and stuff in a very negative way, it was kind of like, God. I had to say something. Yeah, I did. All right. Chris Pine talked about Star Trek, and let's try to get through this in 5 minutes. I think you guys know where I am at with the J.J. Abrams versus Star Trek movies. Star Trek 4 is cursed, but will be compelling if it ever happens, says Chris Pine. So I don't think that he wants to do it, guys. I don't think he wants to step back into this. They made their trilogy. They did. And he goes on to talk about some of the things that I agree with here. After the last one came out and didn't do the $1 billion that everybody wanted it to, and with Anton Yelchin, who played Chekhov, passed away, I don't know. It just seemed, done. And I think it should be done, because if you're going to continue on in that universe, you have to recast Chekhov. Don't say that Chekhov went off and joined his own ships and we're not going to see him anymore. You'd have to recast. And Anton Yelchin played him well. And I don't want to see him recast. You got your trilogy of movies. It's done. It's over with, right? And he says, I will say it for the first time that we have a story that feels as compelling as the first one. I'll say it's the first time since the original reboot that we have a story that feels as compelling as the first one. So he still thinks that he wants to do it, right? There's more to this story of him talking about them trying to appeal to a grander audience and stuff like that they're trying to capitalize on, trying to make it like a franchise as big as like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings. But it's not. Star Trek is not that. And I think the studio executives think that they can try to make it like that because J.J. Abrams came in and he wowed people with the big flashing lights and the moving camera angles and stuff like that. But people caught on to J.J. Abrams, and he was all smoke and mirrors by the time Rise of Skywalker came around. And that's all he is. You had your trilogy. That's the way I felt about it. It's time to put that one to rest. Get some new blood in there, and we'll figure out where Star Trek is going. Because you know where Star Trek needs to go? If you're not watching Picard, I watched episode 3 of Picard last night, and it's so compelling. Some great storylines in there. Great acting in Star Trek from Patrick Stewart, Jonathan Frakes, and Gates McFadden. There's a great scene in Picard last night of Gates McFadden and Patrick Stewart just talking. And you can feel it, the tension between them. That's what Star Trek needs, man. Not flashy lights, not quick camera movements, not a mystery box. All right, let's go through some hit or miss headlines. This is really quick, guys. I'm sorry. Because we got to get out of here before too long, because we got to set up the next show at 1 p.m. And I'll tell you what that is. Jamie Campbell Bower wants to jump from Vecna to Scarecrow in a new DCU film. So yeah, if you watch Stranger Things Season 4, Vecna, he played Vecna. He was a very good bad guy. And people were, well, what could he play next? Could he be like a young Palpatine? Could he be, well, he wants to play a Scarecrow, the Scarecrow character, Jonathan Crane. Yes, he could play that role very well too, because he could look like this, but then he can turn it on and look very menacing too. So, an actor saying that he wants to be in a role. Let's see what he said. There's been a lot of chatter about Scarecrow recently. That would be cool to do that. That would be fun. Very spooky. It would be great. Yeah. Scarecrow is a cool character for sure. That's kind of a hit, but also kind of a miss, right? An actor saying that he wants to act in a movie. Tubi, dark western. The Thicket is going to star Peter Dinklage and Juliette Lewis. Okay. Tubi is recruiting some good actors, right, for a dark western. Peter Dinklage is always top class, and Juliette Lewis was just recently in Yellow Jackets, right? She was in that. Um, she was good in that. So what's this about? It's been a passion project, a journey into the heart of darkness to find love and return it to its rightful place. A Western. A Tubi exclusive. What? What is this? The Thicket will also star James Hetfield from Metallica. What? Now James Hetfield has acted before. Now I'm really intrigued in this project. That's a headline for sure. Florence Pugh addresses Marvel Cinematic Universe criticisms. She just went on to say that people were worried that she would get sucked into the big Hollywood blockbusters and stuff. And she's very level-headed, actually. She came out and said, no, I still appreciate doing the smaller projects. Like last year, we saw her in The Wonder, right? Which was just like a small Netflix film. But yeah, she just said she still has an appreciation for the small stuff and that she'll never get sucked into the big machines for like Dune and Marvel and Oppenheimer, but she's still interested in doing the small stuff and she likes to dabble in areas. So that's good. It sounds like she's got a very level head on her, right? Florence Pugh, great talent. I think she's a great actress, and I would see her in almost anything that she does. Tom Cruise shooting Mission Impossible 8 on a U.S. aircraft carrier off Italian coastline. Now, I wanted to see some footage of this. I wanted a picture of this, but they didn't post it here in the Variety article. I'm sure that there's some paparazzi shots of it or something. But if it's off an aircraft carrier, maybe not. Tom Cruise, of course, we know that he always pushes the envelope. I would say that that's kind of a hit. Ghostbusters 4, Jason Reitman shares first look at iconic firehouse set. So yeah, Jason Reitman is going to be coming back for this one. Ghostbusters, next Ghostbusters movie. So let's take a look at this firehouse set. Well, I think we just saw it there, right? Yeah, because this one's going to go back to New York. Who knows if, well, yeah, they are going to be bringing back at least Ernie Hudson and hopefully Dan Aykroyd. I don't know if Bill Murray's going to come back, but it's going to be with the same cast, the younger kids coming back. So I'll keep my eye out for that one. Maybe we'll talk about that one more on the Horror Weekly tomorrow. Yeah. And we'll talk about this one on the Horror Weekly tomorrow as well. Isabel Merced to be in the new Alien movie from Fade Alvarez. So, yeah, she played Dora the Explorer. We'll be taking a look at that one tomorrow on the Horror Weekly. I just pulled those just in case, we didn't have a whole lot of time to wrap up the show. But I've been kind of meandering on here for a while. So, yeah. Yeah, young Natasha, her eyes are unmistakable. Her name is Ever. Okay. And she's in Neverland. How cool. Really? Yeah. That is a weird casting, right? Nicolas Cage is a Trekkie. Cast him as the big bad. You might have a soft reboot. Yeah! Have Nicolas Cage as the bad guy in a new Star Trek. Oh, he would chew up the scenery with that one. For sure. Just doing the quick Reddit, Twitter roundup. Ethan Hawke features a song on Fall Out Boys and or whatever. Colin Farrell may potentially reunite with After Yang director on an upcoming project. We watched After Yang here on the channel. He was okay in it. Not quite the movie that I was expecting from it, but Colin Farrell's always top talent. We just watched Banshees of Inisherin yesterday. Chris Pine, more Chris Pine, Michelle Yeoh. First look at Florida Man, Edgar Ramirez. Okay. Glenn Powell. Dylan O'Brien. Daisy Jones and the Six debuted yesterday. Oh, the only other movie that was opening up today in some streaming services, guys, was Children of the Corn. I think it was on Shudder. I thought it was going to be on Amazon Prime. I thought Amazon Prime here in Canada was going to cover it. They didn't. So we might not be able to see it, which sucks. If it's coming out in theater, though. I don't know. I'll keep my eye out for it. All right. But we got some presenters and stuff up there. That's it for me, guys. 12:05. I got to have my breakfast and then I'll reset for 1 p.m. We watched The Last of Us this week. We watched Kingsman. We watched Scream 4. We watched Survivor. We watched Mandalorian this week. Yesterday, we watched Banshees of Inisherin. Last Horror Weekly, we watched, or for our movie, we watched Freaky. And at 1 p.m. today, guys, we will be watching Antlers. Yes, Antlers. Because that won in the poll. We put up a poll every week, and I'll do a better job next week of getting it out earlier. But Antlers looks like it's going to be our afternoon movie with, it's only 19 votes, but that's enough. 1 p.m. today, guys. We'll be watching Antlers. And unfortunately, the schedule is going to have to get pushed around for next week because next Friday afternoon, I'll be watching 65, that dinosaur movie with Adam Driver. So we won't, maybe the movie will go back to Saturdays next week. It's so weird. Just pay attention to the weekly schedule, guys. And come join us in about 55 minutes for Antlers. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and if not, enjoy your weekend. Come join us tomorrow for the Horror Weekly Roundup headlines and stuff like that. There's going to be lots to talk about here on Mirror Domains. See you then. See you then.